Okay, welcome body odor sufferers. I was gonna do like a scripted thing about this topic, but I'm just gonna freestyle it. The topic is why can't doctors and family members smell us? Last week I did my first like little hangout thing, and hearing experiences from these two women, Claire and I think her name was Dowdy, talking about their life experiences and interacting with other people within their lives, like their friends or in Claire's case, I think it was her significant other, and hearing more so with Claire how she said she was married and then there was some type of rift in the relationship because of the odor, because she felt like her husband could smell her, but he was constantly denying that he could smell her, even though she feels that he was like rubbing his nose or reacting to her all the time. She also made some instance or talked about experience where they were in the car, and I think her husband asked his son if did you fart or what, did somebody fart or something like that. So there's lots of instances. I guess there's similar instances like that throughout the course of their relationship where he might say certain things which makes her feel like, damn, he probably smells me, but he's not telling me the honest truth. So my thing is, why do you think that is? Why do you think people just are not honest? I would think in a like a relationship, if this is true, and let's just take her word for it that it is true, that her husband can smell her, but she just doesn't want to admit that she smells bad. I'm trying to think of why would you not tell your significant other about it? I mean, especially if you see her being so distressed and so annoyed or so just, I guess, confused and depressed about it, why wouldn't you admit and be supportive of it? And I think there is like I don't know. I think there is some type of stigma. I think there's a better word for it. Like, it's sort of like a taboo to talk about. Saying that somebody smells like trash or somebody smells extremely offensive. But in my case, I don't know, maybe since I've been experiencing this, my whole life, and I've asked people whether I smell or not, and I feel like a lot of people are not being honest with me. Now I feel like I'm just gonna be more honest about it. But if I didn't have this disorder and I smelled somebody smelling extremely funky, would I be honest about them? Like, let's say I had a coworker, like especially in her case, she was telling me that there was another person within her workforce who was told to smell really bad all the time, but she said she couldn't pick it up. If I had that similar situation where there was a person around me that smells extremely unoffensive, would I just be honest with them? If they ever walked up to me and say, "Excuse me, do I smell bad?" Would I even tell them the truth? And honestly, well, in my personality, I don't really like fucking with people. And if I'm gonna tell you the honest truth, I have to at least like you and stuff like that. Because if I don't like you, I don't really feel like I need to be honest with you. I think like, so if a person ever came up to me and said, "Oh, do I smell bad?" I'd probably say no, because if I say yes, there's a possibility that she's gonna constantly come back to me to try to verify if she smells good or not, and I don't want to take on that responsibility. So that might be a reason why people don't actually want to tell you the truth. They don't want to take on the responsibility of being the top-notch smeller. Like every day, there's a possibility she's gonna come up to you and say, "Do I smell bad today? What do I smell like?" There's that possibility. But then again, why don't doctors just be upfront about it? I just had a conversation with a woman who said that doctors were reacting to her. Nevertheless, they didn't really say anything about her smell or anything like that. Within my cases, I went to a number of doctors. I went to a lot of primary cares. I went to I went to a lot of gastroenterologists. I have a funny story. Right when I got out of a mental hospital, I went to a doctor, and I really wanted her to smell me. I really wanted this doctor to smell me. So what I decided to do was not take a bath. I decided to not take a bath. I don't know if I stopped taking a bath for a day or 2 days, but I felt like if I stopped taking a bath for 2 days, she had to smell something, right? So I didn't take a bath for 2 days. I arrive at this, the office. And the thing is, this doctor's office specifically caters to older people more so than anything else. And I still had anxiety and shit. And I went up to the doctor. She was a female doctor, and she was saying, and I was told her, okay, I smell bad. And I think there's some situation with my liver not breaking down foods, which is causing me to smell bad. And they say I smell like shit. And I think the odor is coming out of my ass or coming around my butt area more than anything else. So what she did was she actually went down and sniffed my butt. Because I said, like, I think this is where the odor is coming from the most. And she was like, okay, I don't smell anything. And I'm like, what? This is fucking crazy. Because right after I walk out the office, I walk past a person, two groups of women, and I think I overheard one of the women saying, man, I'm so mad when guys look cute but they smell weird or some shit like that. And that bothered the fuck out of me. And that's the case with all these people. I didn't ask all of the doctors to sniff my butt, but I've been to a colonoscopist, I think that's what it is. I think it's like the booty hole doctor, basically. And he did some things to me I don't really want to talk about. But what I will say is he was really up close on my ass and he didn't smell anything. He was up close in front of me and he didn't smell anything. Even with primary care doctors, they're up close, they didn't smell anything. I remember another time where I was at a gastroenterologist and there was tons of people reacting to me. Like, there was tons of people within the doctor's office, and I was getting anxiety, and there was not enough seats. And the seat, there was like a seating arrangement where there was a lot of people sitting around, and I would have to sit right next to a person. There wasn't like an open seat where I can just sit alone. There was a situation where there are like, let's say there's 3 seats, right? There's one seat, another seat, and there's a seat on the left, seat in the middle, and seat on the right. There's always that one guy that sits in the middle, so whatever position, whatever chair you have to sit in, you have to sit in right next to him. You know what I mean? You want the guys to sit all the way to the right or all the way to the left, but they always sit in the middle, so you have to sit right next to them. So then I decided to stand up or something like that. But nonetheless, I still got reactions from people when I was around them. But once I got into the doctor's office, I went to the doctor. The doctor didn't even seem like he was offended by anything. He didn't make any reactions. He didn't squint his face. He didn't rub his nose. He didn't do anything. But when I was outside in the lobby, people were acting like I was smelling so foul. And it drives me crazy. I don't understand this. I really need to understand this. And I think there's a theory that says that, doctors have just around so many people and around so many smells to the point that they're just numb to it. But if that's the case, I would assume that cashiers would feel the same way. Because cashiers or any type of customer service job, they have to be around people every day for hours, smelling different types of funk and perfumes and scents and stuff like that. But whenever I go to fucking Publix, boy oh boys, these cashiers react to me like a motherfucker. And then start talking shit right when I leave. That's how they do it. But that's besides the point. If that's really the case, the doctor has been around so many smells for years, I would assume, cashiers would have this immune nose or this iron nose where they can't smell anything. Now, you can make the case that doctors have been around patients for 20 years, but cashiers only there for a couple of months, maybe a couple of years at a time. So maybe they haven't built the endurance nose or the nose that doctors have where they're just immune to all offensive smells. But it's still extremely strange, and it also gets into you and makes you start questioning if you are really crazy. It makes you start to question if you are in fact losing your mind and everybody's right, but you're just delusional. That's why when I went to the mental hospital and they tried to scan my brain to see if I had suffered from some type of schizophrenia, I really want to have a conversation about that. But yeah, I was actually glad to look into to get my brain scanned because I didn't know. I was sort of doubting myself. Maybe I am delusional. Maybe I am hallucinating. I don't think I'm hallucinating, but there might be a possibility that I am going crazy. So, yeah, I don't understand why doctors or family members cannot smell me. Now, for family members, for a long time, I did think my parents smelled me. So when I have interviews or I talk to other people, they say, "Oh yeah, my family never said they smell me, but I know they smell me." I used to think like that too, but eventually I just started to realize these motherfuckers cannot smell me because they don't, just because they rub their nose sometimes every now and then doesn't mean that they actually smell you. It could just be something else. But again, this is just my perspective. This is how I deal with it. This is just my odor. Maybe your experiences are different than mine. But overall, I don't think a lot of my family members, like my brother, my sister, my mother, my grandmother, my grandfather when he was alive, I don't think they can smell me. However, I do think like family members that are not blood related can smell me. So for example, like when I was at the Christmas party, my cousin's girlfriend, I feel like could smell me. And my uncle's new wife, well, she's not a new wife, she's been here for like tens of years, but his second wife, she would like avoid touching me. Like we would have like this group prayer thing, and she was about to like hold my hand, but then she avoided. She walked around me just to get away from me and hold somebody else's hand. Like little instances like that made me think, okay, her ass can smell me, or she just don't want to be around my ass like that. So that's the thing that really got under my skin and made me not even want to be in the Christmas party like that. But yeah, I don't understand. I can sort of break it down in terms of family because maybe they're just used to your scent, but a doctor's not used to your scent. And if you make the argument, oh well, that's because doctors have been around so many customers. There's so many jobs where people are around so many different people, but they still can smell you. Like again, the cashier or some type of customer service related job, they still can smell you. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. And if there is more information that comes out, I really want someone to take a good heavy look on this because that's the shit that boggles my mind. That's the shit that when I argue that I smell to people, if I tell my grandmother, if I tell my mother, okay, well, what did the doctor say? And they'll say, and I have to say they didn't say anything. They said that they can't smell me. See, so it verifies that you don't smell. And that's not really the truth. This shit is some paranormal shit. I don't believe in ghosts, but this is some paranormal funk shit that lingers all over your body. And it's just like this hidden deceptive weird smell that's only going to be able to hit somebody's noses, but other people don't. It sort of reminds me like the Bird Box. I just watched this movie, The Bird Box, on my birthday, and for some people they like see death and want to kill themselves, but other people it's like they're immune to it, but they go crazy or something. It's like you got like the Bird Box funks, where it's like, okay, for some people it hits them, they're affected by it, but others it doesn't. It's just fucking weird. I've been ranting for a long time. How long is this? It's like 14 minutes. Oh shit. That's all I want to say. I don't know, man. It's just weird. It's weird. I can't really wrap. When Claire from the Hangouts was talking about her husband and saying that he just didn't want to admit that she smelled, I just found it very perplexing. And I don't know. It just rubbed me the wrong way. Makes me think to myself, if I get in a relationship with a woman and who's not, who says she can't smell me, would she also really smell me but won't tell me? And if you're willing to have intimate relationships with me, would the smell really be that bad? I don't know. It's just weird. I'm gonna end it.